Hi, this is Paul Russell, and you are in the Musical Mandala. And today I would like to introduce you to Ear Training Level 3, the Moons. So we'll start at the top. Like all of the apps, the first thing you want to do to activate everything is to start the drone. Just below the drone, you'll see a slider, and this slider changes the ratio of sound between this fundamental tone and the chord that you activate. So here's more drone and less chord. And there's more chord with less drone. Depends on what you want to emphasize. So in this walkthrough, we're going to start in training mode. There's also a testing mode that we'll look at later. And we'll also start with chords, and afterwards we'll look at progressions. So here in the second control panel, you'll see the letter C, and that is our tonal center. And on the right and to the right and left of the tonal center, you'll see an arrow that shifts the tonal center one key to the right or one key to the left. So to the left, you can either remove sharps or add flats. And to the right, you can either remove flats or add sharps. And it follows the circle of fifths. Just next to the tonal center selector is your mode selector, where we have major, mixolydian, Dorian, natural minor, and harmonic minor. To the right of the mode selector, we have a choice between male and female choirs, the closed syllable and the open syllable ah. And so you can hear that. So in this lower panel, you will see the main moons diagram, which shows all the chords in the key, organized in a certain way. And here I'll activate the D major chord in the key of D major. We can look at these chords from two perspectives. One, from the perspective of the chord names. You can also see in this lower panel the name of the chord, D major, as well as how it's voiced, D, F sharp, A. In the lower right-hand corner of the main panel, there's this selector that goes between chord names and chord functions. So you can play 1, 4, 5, 6. Now, at the lower left-hand corner of the main panel, we have the inversion control. And what this does is the up arrow shifts to the closest inversion above. For example, now we'll go from D major to D over F sharp. In the functions view, this will be shown as the one chord slash first, meaning in the first inversion. Go back to D in root position. Then we'll go in inversion down to D over A, voiced A, D, F sharp, and again, there's the one chord in the second inversion. And I could just play around, listen. Now, above the main moons diagram is the tone row. In the male choir, the tone row is going to sound a melody note above the chords. For example, here's D. And if you select a chord tone that's part of the current chord that's voiced or sounding, you'll see in this panel, the second from the bottom, the tone you're playing, and the role that it's playing in the chord. In this case, F sharp is the major third of the D chord, or seen in functional view, Mi is the major third of the 1 chord. I can go to 5. And now because there's no chord tone ringing, you don't see anything until you activate a chord member, and you see that Re is the 5th of the 5 chord. Now, in the female choir version, the tone row gives you tones below. So you can change the inversion of the chord by using the tone row. One more thing, one more control you'll notice is just to the right of the inversion button, there's a pause button. And what this pause button does is, if I want to go to a chord that takes more than one move to get to, for example, I want to go to A over C sharp and hear what that sounds like directly from D. So if I just click A, it's going to go to a straight A. But if I hit pause, now I can make all sort of changes, and you won't hear anything until you click play. So here I'm on A. I'm going to go up to A over C sharp. And now I'll hit play and hear that smooth transition. So you can explore elegant voice leading in this way. So there's training mode in chords mode. Let's look at test mode in the chords. So now the tone row has transformed from single tones to chords, and all the tones that you want included in the test, you'll keep lit. The default is that they're included. But say I just want to test 1, 4, and 5. I'll deselect these chords, and voila, I have the 1 chord and the 4 chord and the 5 chord. So just below the display, you'll see 1, 2, and 3. These are the levels of the test, or the different aspects you can test for. Number 1 is going to present chords all in root position. So as you'll read in this panel, start the drone, then begin. So I'll start. I'll hit begin, and you'll see the timer running down. I'll click the chord. I missed a spot. And then I hit check. And then I see if it's right. And voila, that was a G. And if I don't get it right, you'll see in green the correct answer and in red what you had answered. And that just lets you know that you have more to train in that area. When you hit stop, everything defaults back to root position. If I want to also test first inversion, I'll hit 2. And when they're both lit, they combine. So this is a test that includes root position and first inversion. If I have 2 lit alone, that's just the first inversion. 3 tests for the second inversion chords, which I can also do singly or in combination. Now let's look at training mode for chord progressions. Now this is fun. To make a progression, first, as ever, I'm going to start my drone. I'll choose a chord. Let's maybe go to a minor mode. You'll see that in this panel, just below the moons, D minor, as I selected it, lit up, but dimly. If I want to add this chord to the progression, I hit add. And you'll see that chord has become bold. To add a second chord to the progression, I'm going to invert that down, add it, now at this point I could either keep building the progression or I could play it, but I'll make all 4 chords that are available. I'll add B flat, then I'll go up to A minor, maybe over C to help us get to D more elegantly. I'll add it, and there's my progression. And to play it, I just hit play. And if I'd like to, I can hit the right button and loop it and play. Could play some simple melodies. And this slider below the chords slows your tempo down. Or speeds it up. Finally, we have test mode in progressions. And here again, we have multiple levels that we can test. We can include and not include whatever we want to work on specifically. Level 1 tests progressions that start at home, go away from home, and come back home. Level 2 introduces deceptive cadences. Level 3 introduces progressions that start away from home, then come back either to the home chord or deceptively. And then level 4 is unresolved progressions. And just like in the chords test, you can test any one of these progression types singly or in combination. To the left of the numbers, you will see an inversion selector. It says off or on. And this affects the test globally so that if they're on, inversions will be included in the test. And you don't need to give the specific inversion, just the chord. It just helps you learn to hear them in this context. So here, I'll start my drone. Note there's 10 questions per round. I'll begin. D minor. I'll hit check. G minor. I'll hit check. And D minor. I'll hit check. Et voila. There it is. So I hope you have a fun time exploring and internalizing these musical relationships. And thanks for listening.